Welcome to Satsang. It's so beautiful to be together with all of you. This is a time when we dive deep into truth. It's not a lecture in philosophy. It's not a class. It's a collective dropping into truth. The word Satsang literally means in the presence of truth, in the association of truth. But it's not a truth like it's November 30th and it's about 6:30 in the evening and we're in Rishikesh, India. Because even though that's true for us, that truth is limited to this very place, this very time. Even at this exact moment, if you pick up the phone and you call someone in California, it's morning. You call someone in Australia, it's almost December 1st. And for us here in this spot, in just a little while, it no longer will be 6:30, then it'll be 7, and then it'll be 7:30. And that truth which is constantly changing and which is only true for certain people in a particular intersection of time and space is not the truth that we emphasize in Satsang. The truth of Satsang is that truth that pervades all of it. So it's true whether it's November 30th or December 1st. Or February 5th. It's true whether you're in Rishikesh or LA or Australia or Paris or Tokyo, it doesn't matter. And it's true at this moment, and it's also true tomorrow, and it's true a year from now, and it was true 5,000 years ago. That truth which is the nature of who we are. And that doesn't mean that we don't get into present day moment challenges. We do every night. But it's present day moments and challenges as seen from the perspective, not of, well, what should I do so that I can have more, earn more, achieve more in this intersection of time and space in this very moment, but rather, how can I move through my world knowing the truth of who I am and knowing the truth of the universe? So that's the beautiful fun that we get to have every night. And we start with a question that comes in advance from our online family and community, joining us through Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and all of the beautiful avenues of technology that we've been given so that people, even who can't actually be here physically, are able to join. So we'll start with one from them and then we open it up. Anyone here, any questions that anyone here has? I am calm by nature, but nowadays I feel a bit low, and I have been constantly angry with my husband. I am 45. Is this because I'm beginning menopause? How can I remain stable during this period and overcome my mood swings. Please help. And this is from our sister Swati Sood, who's joining via Instagram. One of the deepest and corest and most profound teachings of the Vedas, of Vedic spirituality, of truth, is that we are not our bodies, right? This is probably not the first time that you're hearing this. If you've studied anything from these teachings, is you're not your body. You are soul, you are spirit, you are consciousness, you are divinity. And we learn that, we read it, we listen to it, we meditate on it, we believe it, but it's really hard to live as we move through our worlds and we get angry and frustrated and jealous and lustful and greedy and disappointed and hungry and thirsty and tired and all of these things. It's very hard to remember. I am not the signal coming from my stomach to my brain that says eat. I am not the signal coming from my genitals to my brain that says, have sex now. I am not the pattern in my brain that we call jealousy or anger or sadness or frustration, which is all chemical and electrical patterns of behavior in our brain. If you open up someone's brain or their heart while they tell you they are feeling anger, well, you're not going to open it up and the brain is going to be colored in a certain way or there'll be a big sign that says anger. What you're going to see is chemical and electrical patterns taking place in certain parts of the brain. Over the years, we have started saying, this is anger. Somebody experiences anger, this is what's going on in the brain, we're able to recognize it. And we're now able to recognize it to an extent that we actually can provoke these feelings. Neurologists, it's really interesting. I've got a bit of the science lover in me. And one of the things that I love is that the brain itself actually has no pain sensors. So if for some reason, they obviously don't go around opening up people's skulls for no reason, but if for some reason your skull was already opened, if you were having some kind of brain surgery or some kind of brain testing or whatever it was, they actually can go into the brain without causing you any pain at all. And what they've done is they've done these experiments where they can stimulate different parts of the brain in different ways and actually create anger, sadness, certain memories, sexual excitement, all kinds of things just by stimulating different areas of the brain. We also know that you can do the same thing chemically. Give certain drugs, give certain alcohol, you will create feelings in people. It's why people take certain drugs. It's why people get drunk, because they want to feel a different way. Now, I'm telling you all of this because all of these are ways for us to remember, I am not the body. Because usually when we get angry, or we feel sad, or we feel resentful, or we feel jealous, or we feel lustful, we don't think of it as the body. We think of it as me, like I am angry. Nobody says, the chemicals in my brain are exhibiting a pattern of anger right now. We say, I am angry. I am sad. I am depressed. But it isn't I. It's just the chemicals and the electricity in the brain happening in a certain way. Take certain drugs, the chemicals will happen differently. Now, that's obviously not a solution. We just know that the emotions are chemical because everything that you ingest changes the emotions. So when you look at something like menopause, it's changing the chemicals in the body. So does puberty. One of the things that I tell youth when I speak to youth a lot is don't feel bad. Like especially youth in India who are really raised, or youth from any traditional and especially religious culture, who get raised really to feel like so many of the urges they're having are wrong or bad or sinful in some way. And I always tell them, don't feel bad. It's just chemistry. It's just chemistry. Your body is being flooded with chemicals that say, make babies. Make babies. And when your body has chemicals flowing through it that are telling you make babies, you're going to have feelings of lust. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're wrong or dirty. It means you've got chemicals that are telling your brain, this is what I want. So we should never make our youth feel badly about it. But as I always remind them, just because there's a chemical reaction happening in the body doesn't mean you have to act on it. That's where our intelligence comes in. It's where our discrimination comes in. It's where our free will comes in. It's where our spiritual practice comes in. It's where our awareness comes in. Just because there's a chemical reaction happening in my brain, call it anger, doesn't mean I have to punch someone. Chemicals are just chemicals. And so in the same way, when we look at something like menopause, it wreaks havoc on the chemicals in the body, the hormones running through the body, the neurotransmitters then running in the brain. Is it likely to make you constantly angry at your husband? Absolutely. Absolutely. The number of marriages that have broken up or almost broken up during the time of menopause are so many. Because, we get angry. We have mood swings. It's a constant shift. It's like if someone were drugging your morning cereal with something that was making you constantly doubt things and have anxiety and make all of the anxiety chemicals of the body flow. Because quite literally, that is what's happening. When there isn't enough estrogen, the adrenal glands of the body fire in such a way to try to get the brain to tell the ovaries to secrete more estrogen. And when the ovaries don't do it, the adrenal glands pump out even more to tell the brain, like, hey, do something here. You know, you could think of like a train conductor. You know, if the train's supposed to be moving and the train's not moving and the conductor gets more and more angry and anxious, like, hey, get out, you know, your time is running out. You're late, move, go, go. And so what you get on a chemical level is a lot of flooding of what you can think of as anxiety and stress in a chemical way. Lots else happens with us chemically at that time. And so you get a lot of mood swings, you back and forth between depression and sadness and anger and confusion. But it's just another opportunity to remember I'm not my body. So just because these chemicals are flooding my body doesn't mean I'm angry. So when you say, I'm constantly angry at my husband, instead of thinking about it like that, just recognize, oh, there's these chemicals that are flooding my body right now. What can I do to come back to center? What can I do? I can tell you from experience that meditation, especially deep breathing practices, are the most powerful ways that I know to grab back hold of yourself when you're literally being hijacked inside you by a chemical reaction. You drop back to the breath. And by the way, this is true when the chemical reaction is caused by menopause or by any one of the other 100 things that happens in our lives that cause a chemical response of stress and anxiety, mood fluctuations, is you drop back to the breath, re-anchor the self, become very aware. Your practice of awareness, I know for me as incredibly difficult on a physical and physiological level menopause was, it was an incredible spiritual experience because it gives you all of these opportunities to just watch and just become aware. And you just notice, heat. Sweat. Vibration in the body. Racing heart. And you just notice it. You don't identify with it. I'm not angry. There's a chemical thing happening in my body that's making my heart race and making me sweat and flooding me with chemicals that tell me that my life is in danger and I should be really, really very scared. But I know that's not true. And so you just notice it. And you can become a master meditator, a master mindfulness practitioner. Or you go around screaming at everybody you know and trying to rip your own skin off. Those are pretty much your only two options. And so if you can take it as a spiritual practice, I'm not saying it's easy by any means, it is not. But by definition, sadhana is never easy. The whole definition of sadhana, of tapasya, all of what we do spiritually, whether we're fasting, whether we're staying awake all night chanting japa, whether, like Puja Swamiji, we're standing on one leg in tree pose 11 hours a day. Sadhana, by definition, is a challenge. But it's a challenge that enables you to burst through the illusion of the mind, the games of the mind, the ego, the ignorance, and actually experience who you really are. So there's lots of techniques, and menopause is certainly a beautiful opportunity, a beautiful technique to be able to dive deep into who you are. Remember, you are not actually angry at him, at least probably most of the time. And just remind him of that, remind you of that, and develop techniques that when you feel that arising, what calms it down? Meditate, pray, chant, take a walk, drink cool water, have a cold shower, listen to sacred mantras, do a whole bunch of jumping jacks, go for a run. Do something other than let the energy bubble up and then explode at everyone around you. And again, this is true whether that's being caused in your life by menopause or anything else. When you feel that anger arising that you know isn't really about present moment situation, present moment is just a trigger. Don't lose yourself. And don't lose relationships that matter. Manage the chemistry in your body. For menopause, there's a whole bunch of different herbs and natural Ayurvedic things that work for some people. They didn't work for me, but I know they work for some people. But that path of breathing and of meditating and of awareness and mindfulness will pull you through in such a way that you're actually so much stronger and more grounded and more anchored afterwards. So just take it as a beautiful opportunity to remember, I am not the chemistry in my body. I am not my hormones. I am not the chemicals. I am soul, I am spirit, I am love, I am divine. And I am not going to let two little tiny glands sitting on my kidneys destroy my marriage. I'm not going to let them destroy my life. I can manage my way through this. Great question. Thank you. Other questions? Any question that anyone here has? Yeah. There's a mic right there.
First, my deep love for you. All over through your Instagram, your mellifluous voice, and your unfathomable knowledge of deep spirituality, I'm here. Sadhviji, I need to know that lately, at the age of 42, I realized that I am not Dr. Disha. I am a soul. I am a spirit living in this body. And we all know that we are the architects of our own future. And I feel like making my own future where I need not to take another birth. Salvation is what I'm asking about. So how can I attain that? And is it really possible?
Beautiful. So first of all, it's really important to know that we, in the Vedic Sanatan Dharma tradition, what we call Hinduism, we don't actually believe that you need salvation. We believe you need liberation. And they're different. Liberation is freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from the ignorance, the chains that bind us in ignorance. Salvation means I need to be saved. Means I need someone to save me, or I need to figure out how to save myself from what? There's no danger. You're not in danger. So it's a shift. It's just a semantic difference. But it's actually important because when you think of yourself as stuck and needing freedom, rather than needing to be saved from something, then the path becomes very different. If I need to be saved, I am somehow a victim of something. If I need to be free, well, then I better figure out how to unhook myself. I better figure out what is keeping me stuck and how to get myself free. So liberation is most definitely possible. Salvation, of course, is possible because I would say you don't even need to be saved. But liberation is also very possible. It's really a shift in the mind. That's all it is. From identifying in ignorance as the body, as the roles, to identifying as soul. It's like that beautiful, beautiful Vedic mantra that says, Asatoma sadgamaya, tamsoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. And it means, oh God, lead me from the falsehood of separation into the truth of oneness. Lead me from the darkness of ignorance in which I suffer and bring suffering to others, into the light of wisdom in which that suffering ends. And lead me, and it's important to realize these are not three separate things. It's not like the genie in a bottle, you get three wishes. Okay, I want, truth and light and this. No, they move sequentially. So we get truth. From that truth, there is light of wisdom. And from that light, we realize the last says, lead me from death to immortality. But it's not an immortality of the body. It would make absolutely no sense that we are praying to God to make an exception to the very rule that God has created, which is that everything that is born must die. So it's not the mantra of, let me be the exception to the rule. It's the final culmination. When I am led into truth from untruth, when I am led into that light of truth from the darkness of ignorance, well, then I am led from the false identification as the body, as the one who is born and dies, to the true identification as the soul. So let that be your morning, afternoon, evening, all day long prayer. And then just practice it as you move through the world. There's this meditation practice called Neti Neti, which is a beautiful practice of not this, not that. And when you do it, seated with your eyes closed like this, you go through all of the things that you are not. So I am not my clothes. I am not my skin beneath the clothes. I am not the blood flowing beneath the skin. I am not the bones. I am not the organs. And we go through kind of one by one, getting deeper and deeper. We then get into, I am not my chemicals and electricity, so I'm not my thoughts or emotions or memories. And you finally get to a place where there is nothing left to say you're not. And in that spaciousness, we have the opportunity to experience the infiniteness of who we really are. But that meditation practice is something that can be done not only seated with your eyes closed. You can do it all day long. And I would recommend doing it all day long. Whatever happens that makes you identify as body, just say to yourself, Neti Neti, not this. So you're walking down the street, you look in a glass, window of a store, you see your reflection. The mind says, oh, I look pretty good. Or the mind says, oh my God, you're so ugly. Either way, you just say, not this. Neti Neti, not this. Neither the good nor the bad. Someone says to you, oh my God, you are so stupid. And instead of being insulted or insulting them, you just realize, Neti Neti. I'm not that. Neither am I the stupid that you called me, nor am I my emotional reaction to what you just said. Not this. Same way someone says, oh my God, you're so wonderful. Nainti, nainti. Not this. Not this. And you just constantly through the day keep reminding yourself, not this. You fail, not this. You succeed, not this. And slowly, 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 that recitation becomes your awareness.
Love and blessings. Thank you.
Of course, beautiful. Yes.
Hello. See, yes, I want my question is on how to control. Sorry. Yeah, my question is on how to control.
Can you come a little closer to the mic?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thanks.
So my question is how to control the emotions. More specifically, when one mother loses a person which is very close to her heart, and what should be the inspiration and what should be the motivation to live her life. And sometimes it comes to my mind, say it's only God has identified me only for that. How should I cope up with all these things?
So you feel like God has created you to give love to your mother.
She's mother.
Yes, to give love to her, to take care of her. Beautiful. What is the emotion that you're looking to control?
Basically, always that she see her son, which is not there right now. She's my wife.
Yes.
Yeah. So only 4 weeks back only we had this incidents. I lost my son.
Ah, okay. I understand. Okay. First of all, yes, of course. First of all, I'm so sorry about the loss of your son. That's a tragedy that no parent should have to go through. I'm so glad that you've come here. This is the place for those prayers. I don't know whether you've already had a sacred puja or not, but if not, talk to us afterwards. Our team can make beautiful arrangements for a very, very sacred puja for your son. In terms of taking care of your wife and her emotions, at the moment, 4 weeks after losing her son, the only thing for you to do is just be there, hold her, love her, and be present. There is nothing else you can do. Do not try to control it. Do not try to change it. Do not tell her to think about something else. Do not tell her to think in a different way. There's no right way or wrong way to grieve. She's in the midst, the very beginning of a process of grief. It's going to be a very intense process for a long time. Your role is to just support her and hold her through it. It's like if you imagine that your wife has to walk on a tightrope between buildings. You know how those, sometimes the acrobats, and you'll see the circus, they have to walk on a tightrope. Now they're trained how to do it. If any of us did it, we would fall. But going through what she's going through right now is the emotional equivalent of having to walk on that tightrope. One fall one way or the other, and it feels like your heart and your life and your breath will just be over. What she needs right now from you is you to just hold her. She's got to walk that. But instead of you telling her faster, slower, right, left, don't do that. Just hold her. She'll walk at her own speed. She'll walk in her own way. You just need to be there supporting her and holding her so that she doesn't feel like she's going to fall. And so that she doesn't collapse inside. I cannot even imagine what it's like for her, what it is like for you. Just to say that do not judge yourselves or each other in the process of grieving. There will be moments of unbearable pain. There will be moments of anger. And there will be moments of joy. Because there will be moments when you feel the truth, which is that your son is actually still here with you, in soul, in spirit. And so there will be moments when you feel him. And those moments of joy, there'll be moments of joy when you remember him and you remember the incredible years and years that you had of him. And then there'll be pain. And then there'll be confusion. And there'll be anger. Anger at God, anger at your son, anger at each other, anger at whatever may have happened. Just allow it. Just allow it. It's like if you've got an illness in the body and you have a fever, it just has to burn itself out. There isn't any way to make it go away. Yeah, you can take medicine that just masks the symptoms for a few hours, but it's not actually changing it. It has to move through the body. And this grief is going to have to move through the heart and through the mind. And it will do so. Life, of course, will never be the same, but there will most definitely come a time in which you can wake up, you can greet the new day, you can greet the sun, you can greet each other, you can smile, you can laugh, you can live in joy, you can bring joy to others. That will return. But it needs time. And it'll only be able to return if you allow yourself to go through the grieving process fully. Know that we're all here only really essentially on loan from the divine. You know, it's like God gives us each other for a short period of time. Even when it's 90 years, 100 years, it never feels like it's long enough. But when it's short, really short, then it hurts even more. But to just remember that the whole experience with him was a beautiful gift that God gave for some time. And now he's back with God. You can think of it as God missed having him around. And so brought him back into God's lap. But also lastly, as I said, just always remember that in soul, in spirit, he's still here. The body is gone. That relationship is gone. But the soul and the spirit which you loved of him, that essence is still here. And let yourself feel that. Let yourself hear him with your inner ear. Let yourself see him with your inner eye. Feel him inside. And know that he's still there with you on that level. And just love each other and hold each other and be there for each other. And together you'll come through this. And I'm glad you're here. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, everyone. There will not be satsang for the next 4 nights. I am leaving tomorrow morning for Dubai for the COP28 climate summit, where I will have the very beautiful blessing and privilege and opportunity to serve as a vehicle, hopefully an impactful vehicle, of love and truth and sustainability and consciousness and spirituality, and hopefully have the chance to make a ripple on an impact on the world. So I leave tomorrow morning. We'll be back on the 5th. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, no satsang. We will gather again for satsang on the evening of the 5th. So I hope that most of you will still be with us here in Rishikesh. For those of you who won't be, we hope that you'll join us online as well and become part of our online satsang community, our sangha, and that you'll come back as frequently as you can. And so much love.